Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday. It is Monday. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is Monday. No, I don't have my full voice, but I am still here by the grace of God, and I did not want to not be here this morning. So bear with me on this morning, but I am so grateful. So grateful to be here on this morning. This morning, it is Monday. It is Monday, February 20th, 2023. And on behalf of Purpose Journey Counseling, LLC, Reloaded, we want to say good morning to you. It is 7 a.m. and we are Eastern Standard Time and we are live. And we just want to thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us live at 7 a.m. or you catch us later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, or later in the year. We want to say, again, thank you for joining us and good morning. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and therapist of Purpose Journey Counseling, LLC, located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So again, as I stated, it is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So as we always just ask you to please just take a few moments to like this video. Also like our pages on the various social media platforms. Please follow us on your preferred social media platform. But we do ask everyone if you could please take a few moments just to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Purpose Journey Counseling. If you could please subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will be greatly appreciated. Let's please share this broadcast and let's also interact and engage in the comments section. So we appreciate you. We thank you so much in advance for taking the time to do that. So we just want to say thank you. So I do want to share this information before we go any further. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline number. Please save this information in your phone just in case it may ever be needed for you or someone else. The phone number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. The number is 24/7. Please save that information in your phone, just if ever needed for you or someone else. There's also the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That number is 988. Again, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, the number is 988. This number is also 24/7, and you can text this number as well. So please store that information in your cell phones. You just never know if you may need it, someone else may need it. We just want to be available or have resources available as needed. So again, we thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for bearing with me. I have been losing my voice for about 4 days now, but God, and I'm still here, and we're going to use the voice that we have today to do our Monday message, because it is Monday. It is a new day. It is a new week. And I have just been incredibly amazed by a lot of the things that have been going on around me, the things that I've been seeing, and just rejoicing over a lot of things. I won't go into details because this is not a testimony message. However, one of the things, there's been like this overarching theme that has come out of a lot of things that I've been seeing, I'll say at least within the last 30 days plus, probably before that, but especially particularly over the last 30 days plus. So we'll even say 40 days. Let's just say 40 to 45 days. But I want to share this with you. It's just something that God gave me like last week specifically. And I didn't know what it was for. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Thank you, Lord. But I just want to share this with you, just saying as a message for this morning, but to encourage each and every one of you. Stop telling God what he cannot do and watch him work. I'm going to just let that sit there for a second. Stop telling God what he cannot do and watch him work. People. Have you ever just been living life? And stuff starts happening around you, or you start seeing like amazing things occur, or things that you never would have expected, or things that maybe you were unsure about, or things that you were just like, God, how is this going to work? Or God, I mean, are you sure that's what you want me to do? God, are you positive that, even my kids, are you positive that they're getting this stuff? Am I doing the right things? Am I saying the right things? God, am I being obedient to your will? Am I actually where I'm supposed to be? You start asking all these questions a lot of times. Have you ever started asking yourself any of those questions? And then you just start seeing the splendor of God just happening around you, like in the midst of all these questions and confusion, or just uncertainty, or even sometimes you think you're doing what God is telling you to do, but you're not quite sure. You're not sure because sometimes things don't necessarily look like, sometimes like, oh, I'm doing everything God's telling me to do, but it don't look right. Or I'm doing everything God is telling me to do, but like it just doesn't seem like things are moving right. But because sometimes even when we're in the will of God, it doesn't mean that everything is working out perfectly. But have you ever thought about those things? Have you ever asked yourself those questions, or even in the midst of it, so you get confused, or I want to say, or confused, or even distracted by what's going on around you? You start being like, well, God can't do anything with this. God's not going to be able to bless this, or God's not going to, because I've made so many mistakes that God's not going to have his hand on my life, or God's not going to do this, or God can't do that, because if I would have done what I was supposed to do, people of God, guess what? No matter how much you've messed up, no matter how many times you have not been obedient to God, no matter how many times you have not done what God has wanted you to do, guess what? He can still do all things, and he still does all things well. God is still able, regardless of whatever you've messed up. God's still able. And guess what? You will be amazed by his power, his awesomeness, his authority. His incredible nature supersedes anything that you've done wrong, anything that you haven't done yet that you're going to do that's going to be wrong. You will be amazed by the power of God, how God is able to take nothing and turn nothing into something incredible, or how God is able to work in your life in ways, back when we used to be, some of us might still struggle with this, but, we used to be enemies of God. Those of us who are saved, we used to be enemies of God and weren't doing anything God wanted us to do, but God was still able to come in and shift our lives, shift our perspective about him, shift our perspective about our perspectives about ourselves in him, so that we would understand that we're still usable by God, and God still loves us in spite of. So you will be amazed at his power, and by his might, and by his splendor, and what he's able to do. And you start looking around you, and you start seeing the splendor, the beauty of God, and how God is moving in your life, and how God is shifting things, and how God is turning things around, and those crooked paths are becoming straight, and that nasty disposition that you used to have is turning into a pure spirit of thankfulness and worship and just kindness. You used to frown all day, now you're smiling. All these things that God is just putting into place, and God is doing, and God is giving you new visions and different things that he wants you to do, and showing you how incredible he sees you to be, and how awesome he thinks you are, and how much he loves you, and how much favor he really has on your life, even though you didn't even think it. You thought he skipped you. You thought he just cared about so and so over here, and he starts to show you, no, I've got favor on your life as well. And you start to see all these things, and then sometimes you have no words. He will leave you speechless. Have you ever been speechless? There's a lot of things I will say. I used to be just really, really quiet. So most of the time I was just speechless. I was never thoughtless. I had lots of thoughts. You just didn't know what I was thinking. But there's been some things recently, I'll just say, God has left me completely speechless. When you surrender and you submit to the authority of God, and you recognize the sovereignty, God is sovereign even if you don't recognize it, even if you try to act like he's not, he's still sovereign. But when you really submit under his authority, submit, and you really acknowledge who he is, he will leave you speechless. And you watch God work, watch him do stuff, watch him work out things, Watch him make things new. Watch him do all these things. You'll be speechless. Sometimes it's hard to even find the words to express how amazing he is or how incredible he is. And in these situations that you're speechless, you will either be reminded or come to know how awesome he is. And I say either be reminded because you knew how awesome he was, or you're going to come to realize, you're going to come to know, because some people don't understand it. Some people can't fathom it. And I'll tell you, sometimes I can't even fathom God. I said, I continue to be amazed. I continue to find out that God can just keep going. Like, you think that he's blessed you last year, and then he starts blessing you this year. And you're just like, wow, God, you still got blessings left for me. And we ain't got to other people, you still got blessings left for me when I haven't dotted every I and I haven't crossed every T, but you still been good. You still been showing me favor. You still had your hand on my life, even when I tried to be out of your will intentionally. Because some stuff is not all we just, we err. No, some stuff is intentional. Some stuff we do. We know God's not pleased with it, and we just do it. So as you're seeing these things, you will either be reminded or come to know how awesome God really is. So I just want to encourage you, people of God. I could go on and on and on and on about God and how awesome, how amazing, how incredible he really is in spite of everything. So I want to encourage you to stay in your lane and play your position. What do you mean, Dr. Natatu? Don't try to be God. Don't try to be God. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to make it make sense. Don't try to say, oh, well, I think that this is what's going to happen. Stay in your lane and play your position. And your position needs to be one of prayer. Prayer, praise, worship. Stay in your lane. Say, okay, God, I understand this vertical relationship we have is so important. So let me talk to you. Let me hear from you, God. Let me speak to you. Let me be worshiping you. Let me be praising you so I can stay in your face, God, because I want to be close to you. So your position being close, I want to be close to you, God. I want to be worshiping you, God. I want to be honoring you in what I do, God. And I know that I'm going to fall short a lot of times, but God, as I'm doing these things and I'm trying, God, I just want you to help me stay on course. Help me to stay in my lane. Help me to play my position, to do the things that you would have me to do, God. And if it's something in me that's not like you, because there is a lot of stuff in us that's not like God, or when you find it, God, can you help me to not be that person anymore, focusing on ourselves and how we can improve this relationship that we have, which of course affects our horizontal as well, but so that we can actually be amazed and be speechless and not worrying about tomorrow. Tomorrow has its own set of worries, focusing on today, and understanding that we don't know everything, but guess what? God knows. So God knows whatever it is that's on your heart this morning, whatever it is that you've been struggling with, whatever it is that you've been praying about, whatever it is that you're just unsure, you have some uncertainties in your life and just not quite getting it. That's okay, because God knows. God knows. And sometimes he's not going to tell you every detail. That's okay, because you can't handle all the details right now. Let's face it, we can't handle it. If God starts telling us everything, we won't be able to handle it. I've said this before. We won't be able to handle it because we're not even ready. We're not even ready for all that. He got to prepare us. He has to prepare us along the way. So that's our Monday message for this morning. Stop telling God what he cannot do and watch him work. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at what God is able to do when you take your mouth off of that stuff. To say, okay, all right, I'm just going to praise you. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to worship you in the process, because I know that you're able to do more than I can even fathom. And you're God and I'm not. So I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to play my position. And I'm going to be so speechless. I'm going to just be like, God, I just could lift my hands. I can't even say nothing. I'm just going to lift my hands and I'm going to worship you. So that's our Monday message for this morning. I'm trying to just keep it short. We're going to just stop right there. So just to go over this again, our schedule, we do have our Monday messages on Mondays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Wednesday Wisdom on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have our monthly podcast, Hashtag from a Christian, Hashtag from a Therapist, with Dr. Natatu on the first Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as we've stated, I'm going to keep on saying this to make sure that we know, Our next episode of Hashtag from a Christian, Hashtag from a Therapist with Dr. Atatu, episode 10, will be on Sunday, March 5th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm already excited because I know what it is. Stay tuned for the flyer. I said this, I'm not going to tell you until the flyer comes out. Stay tuned for the flyer because it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. The power of God, we're going to be amazed by how powerful the power of God is going to be shown through this next podcast. But I'm really, really excited about it. So mark your calendars, March 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, every time we're together, I want to encourage you to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as towards yourselves. Amen. Amen. So we do thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning. I want you to have a marvelous, magnificent day. We, Lord willing, will see you Wednesday for Wednesday Wisdom live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be blessed, be safe, enjoy your day, and blessings and love.